Well, hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. How are all of you doing on this fine Sunday evening? I hope you all woke up without a hangover on Saturday morning and that you had all of your fingers and both of your hands and no problems with them. You know, firecrackers and M80s and some of them other fireworks can be very dangerous, and they can leave some devastating injuries if you mishandle them. And I would hate for that to happen to any of you. Well, we're back again to expose another frauditor with a criminal past, only this one is going to anger you a little bit with the amount of times that he's gotten away with his crimes. I'm not overly impressed with the court systems in Texas and Colorado right at the moment, and it really kind of shocks me about Texas because Texas is usually, all about law and order. Well, except in Austin, but Austin's its own little beast down there. But anyways, since Napa, California hasn't gotten back to me yet, and it'll probably be another few days, we're going to expose Otto the watchdog, Winston Wesley Knucklehead from, take your pick, Colorado or Texas. He has addresses in both spots. Now, my theory remains at 100% correct. A frauditor, agitator with a criminal history. So why don't you all just sit back and relax and let me expose Otto the watchdog for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first adult arrest that I could find for Otto, if that seems to be like what he likes to call himself, is going to be a domestic violence assault causing a bodily injury to a family member. That charge out of Collin County ended up getting dismissed. He got picked up 5 years later in, December 3rd, 2016. He was charged with failure to appear, must have been a traffic ticket or something he didn't show up for. Anyways, he was sentenced to time served in the Collin County Hotel. And anyways, he probably spent a couple days in there waiting to get in front of the judge or something. So now we're going to go ahead a couple more years, and on December 16th, 2018, he's charged with resisting arrest and disorderly conduct, both out of Rockwall County. Changed that charge on October 21st, 2019, 10 months later. They changed that charge to interfere with public duties, and we'll see those two charges up here in just a minute. Now, on April 7th and April 8th, 2019, he's charged with domestic assault causing injury to a family member, and he was placed on the National Domestic Violence Registry for those two, as you can see right here on our screen. We put that up there for you to show you that he was or is, actually I just looked that up a few minutes ago, so he is on the National Domestic Violence Registry. And let's see again, on the 8th, all of his rage and anger wasn't out of him, so he assaulted a family member again. Then on April 30th, 2019, he was arrested for failing to appear for his charge with interference with a public duty. So he was recharged on October 21st, 2019. We're going to see that up here above in just a minute. Anyways, he was arrested in Dallas County, spent a little bit of time in Dallas County, and then went over to Rockwall County. Anyways, did they get him good. Actually, there is a video out there on this, how it was such a big deal that he got arrested for camping. Camping is what they called it. Only he was camping in a city park in Denver, Colorado, which they have closing times and dismissed. Closing times and curfews. So got to leave the park by a certain time, and apparently, according to Otto, he and his two daughters were just camping there. So, well, you gotta leave. Anyways, he ended up with a parking violation, and I'm trying to figure out if this case was dismissed or if he was sentenced to 30 days in jail and 8 hours of community service, along with a $655 fine, of which they suspended $350. So let me show you this right here. This is part of his case, and it states that I've got it, not circled, but squared out there in a red so that you can see that right there it says the case was dismissed. But if you go to page 3 of the court case, then you see this, and it says he was given 30 days in jail and 8 hours of community service, along with that $305 fine, since they dismissed half of it. So, not quite sure what happened with that case. But I did want to see how weird it looked. And now, on September 17th, 2019, he was charged with continuous violence against family member, which, let's see, that was going to be for the one down here on April 7th, 2019. And that charge ended up being dismissed for some reason. I don't know why, couldn't tell you. I just read the court cases or the court documents and let you know what they say, folks. All right, so the next page here, we look on October 18th, 2019, he's picked up for being a fugitive from justice in Denver, Colorado. And that charge ended up being dismissed by the DA. It must be, the only thing I can think of is Rockwall County, Texas didn't go up there and get him. But anyways, he started showing back up to court, and on October 21st, 2019, the interference with public duties charge from down below that we talked about, he ended up guilty of that charge, and he paid $262 in fine and fees. Now, 9 days later, he was arrested for on October 30th, 2019, for abandoning and endanger a child, criminal negligence, which was a felony out of Rockwall County. They dismissed that charge. And when the very next day, he was picked up on October 31st, 2019, for interference with public duties out of Rockwall County. Those charges were dismissed. And then on January 23rd, 2020, he was picked up for disorderly conduct, abandon, endanger child, criminal negligence, and 2 counts of interfere with public duties. Those were from previous arrests where Otto had been in jail for them, and then his failure to appear and was arrested on a warrant. So that's where those come from. Now he's got several civil cases. It's either going to be him suing somebody or somebody suing him. We go back to December 9th, 2015. Crystal Michelle sued Winston Wesley for divorce with children, and that case ended up being dismissed for lack of want, they called it. And then on February 18th, 2016, a guy named Drew something sued Winston and Crystal because they owed him $2,201, and that ended up being awarded to the plaintiff. Now, on February 22nd, 2019, Crystal Michelle sued Winston Wesley for divorce with children again. And according to the court documents, it said final decree was declared on May 7th, 2019, Collin County, Texas. Now on 4/29/2019, the state of Texas sued Wesley in small claims court in Collin County and they were awarded $308 to the state for a criminal investigation involving Winston Otto. And then we're going to go ahead to May 6, 2019. Crystal Michelle, the wife, or ex-wife actually by this point, no, not by that point, wasn't until later, actually a day later. So anyways, she sued Winston Wesley for an order of protection. A temporary order was awarded, but a final protective order hearing for May 22nd, 2019, both parties failed to appear, so the case was dismissed. And on July 25th, 2019, again, I say 2019 was not a good year for him. Got sued a bunch of times and got divorced and picked up a bunch of criminal charges. So I'm glad, I'll bet he's glad 2019 is over with. Anyways, so Tracy sued Winston Wesley Knucklehead et al., means anybody else that was living in the apartment at the time, for eviction, and judgment was awarded to the plaintiff, Tracy. On October 10th, 2019, Winston sued the General Sessions Court. It says appealed, case closed, but nothing was listed. That was in Denver County. I don't know if he was appealing one of his cases. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, the last one we got here is on October 18th, 2020. Winston sued Nick and Keith. They were police officers in a city. He sued them in the Northern District of Texas. And rigmarole, playing around in court. Finally, that case was dismissed. Otto, the Watchdog, is the name of the channel. It's Winston Wesley Knucklehead. He was born in February 1986. That's, oh man, do I feel old now. Anyways, he's 6'2", weighs 300 pounds. If you take a look at him in some of his pictures, he's a little round in the middle there. In 2020, he lived in Denver, Colorado. Looked like June 2020, he moved to a place in Manzanola, Colorado. And then, which is weird because in June of 2017, he registered to vote at an address in Wiley, Texas. And the last address I can find for him is in Brashear, Texas. So that's why I say he's from Colorado and Texas, because he seems to use those two addresses intermittently whenever he wants. And I had a couple of email addresses for him there. We blocked out just so we don't get in trouble with YouTube. Now, the way I look at it is this looks like dismissal after dismissal after dismissal. And then, you know, it's funny because the criminal justice system wonders why the hell these criminals keep reoffending. Well, hell, I can answer that one for you. It's because you don't do anything to these people. You know, you don't do anything to punish them and show them the error of their ways so that they will change and not do this stuff. But, you know, you just keep on going easy on these people, giving them chance after chance after chance. You know, it's because they laugh in your face. Actually, they laugh at your back when you got your back turned to them, and they just continue to commit crimes. You see the same people over and over and over again in your court, and what do? Nothing. It's only common sense, folks. It's not like it's rocket science. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I could find in our frauditor, Otto the Watchdog, Winston Wesley Knucklehead from Colorado and Texas. It's the only two states I could find that he lived in. So, but he seems to have made a little bit of change in his life, if you didn't notice, as I didn't find any arrests for him after 2020, unless I'm looking in the wrong spot, which is entirely possible because you never know. But I only found that he lived in two places, well, several places, but they were both in Colorado and Texas. So I hand it to you, Otto, even though you're still a frauditor and you're still a criminal, that maybe, just maybe, you're trying to turn your life around a little bit. I say this, though, with having watched only one of his videos, so I don't know what kind of frauditor he is or if he's a fucktard while he's filming. So I don't know if he's good when he videotapes or if he's one of these that likes to interfere, butt in, and yell and scream at the officers because they think they have free speech. Anyways, what do you think, folks, with so many charges being dropped or dismissed? And let me know what else you found about him from watching the videos. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet and you came here from somewhere else, please hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you'll be notified of all new videos as they come out, because we have so many more frauditors to expose. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up so that we know you like what we did. Please continue to support your local law enforcement, ladies and gentlemen, and back the blue before some criminal does it to you. The more you support law enforcement, the more they're going to feel that the community believes in them and supports them. It's been a pleasure to bring you this video, and I thank you all for your support of the channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you more than you can imagine. I appreciate your emails, your comments, your suggestions, and your critiques, because it all helps the channel. And I appreciate you guys for being so interactive. Well, who to do next? Well, if Napa County doesn't get back to me so that I can expose Bay Area transparency, then we'll have to look into someone else. And I'll start looking for that someone now so that I can do the deep dive that you all seem to enjoy and appreciate. So until then, y'all take care out there now.